What's up YouTube, it's TF Collector here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series number 10 Deluxe Class Autobot Jazz from the 2007 Transformers movie. Now before we hop into the packaging, if anyone's wondering why we're skipping from number 8 to number 10, it's simply because I do not have number 9, the Thundercracker, in my collection. I don't own that figure. I don't have any immediate plans to get that figure unless I find it new in box for a price I can't resist. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging for Jazz. Right there you have a nice image of Jazz ready to punch someone and hopefully not get ripped into two pieces, if you know what I mean. He's number 10 of Studio Series. His name's Autobot Jazz. Transformers 2007 movie. 8 and up Hasbro. Transformers down the side. Generations there. Takara Tomy there. Some background there that we'll take a look at later. On this side of the box, he is number 10 of the Studio Series. Nice profile image of him there, and he is a deluxe class. On this side of the box, that same profile image but widened out, so you can see a little more of the posing. He's doing a little shooting there. Autobot logo there. Authentic logo there. On the back, he is big screen inspired from the Transformers 2007 movie, and the specific scene is the Mission City battle. You have some nice product images there of Jazz. Transforms in 19 steps. Autobot Jazz brings all he's got to fight to defeat the Decepticons. We all know how that works out. Backdrop included. We'll take a look at that later. Reviews for Bumblebee and Stinger are live on the channel, and Lockdown's review will be up next week. This is a licensed GM product, and of course, more Hasbro. Bottom, barcode, top, Transformers. And before we take a look at this very little dude, we gotta take a look at his instructions. He's number 10 Studio Series Autobot Jazz. Picture of the figure there, 8 up, Transformers. Deluxe Transformers, Generations. On the back, Takara, licensed GM product, and Hasbro. And moving on to the figure himself, here we have Jazz in his licensed Pontiac Solstice mode. I loved this car growing up. I still think it looks pretty cool. Not as big of a fan of it as I used to be, but I still do like the car. Right up front here, you have the Pontiac logo there done in red with some nice black detailing. All the headlights are picked out, these in paint, and these are a different color plastic. You can see the whole thing is done in silver, which is absolutely beautiful. You have some see-through windows going on there. The door handle is sculpted, and there's some more detailing there on the side. Unfortunately, mine has got a couple scuff marks, which is quite unfortunate, but it's you gotta live with it, man. Nothing you can do about it. It doesn't ruin the figure for me. The wheels here just done in a gray plastic. You have the gas cap there even molded in. Another window there on the back, the big spoiler there. You have his red little tail lights there and some exhaust going on all throughout. These are actually lights, I think, and these are exhausts. I'm not a supercar guy. You have the place the license plate would be, none there. And you do have the handle for the trunk also sculpted in, and all throughout just some nice detailing. This side's the same as the front. The mirrors are plastic, so be careful. You don't want to break those off. Have some more ridge detailing there up front. There is the top of the vehicle. There is the bottom of the vehicle. You can see his head, unfortunately. That is there. That is a thing that is there. Now, he does roll very nicely, as you can see. And yeah, overall, I think the figure itself looks really good here in Pontiac mode. And for a quick comparison, here in vehicle mode, here he is with Studio Series 04 Deluxe Ratchet. So you can see how the team is shaping up so far. We have a while before we'll get to see the full team together, but I think that these two scale pretty good together. And I think that so far the team is looking very, very good. Now included, you do get one accessory with Jazz here, and it's this satellite dish looking blaster. I'm not real sure what you would call this, but you can see the front here is done in a nice little gold paint, and the rest is just done in this gray plastic. Some dark gray plastic used back here, but it is nicely detailed. You have some molded in detailing, and the sculpting overall looks pretty good. Now this can store in the vehicle mode. What you do is you take this and just fold it back, and you see there is a little tab that sticks out there. And basically what you're going to do is tab that underneath the middle section of the spoiler. This can sometimes take a little bit of doing, but oh, there we go. Worked out pretty well for me that time. And as you can see, Jazz can now have a lot of satellite dish going on, and I don't know, maybe you can watch some TV in your old Pontiac. Not tea. I'm not sure how you'd watch that. And with all that being said and done, I think that overall, this vehicle mode, while very small, as you can see, not even hardly the size of the palm of my hand, looks very good, very screen accurate. I think the Solstice here looks very good. So let's go ahead and transform this guy and see if his robot mode looks as good as his vehicle mode does. So the first thing, of course, we want to get that out of the way, and we will begin. So the first thing you want to do is come up front here and get your nails under this front piece and just extend it and rotate it and push it back in until it lines, or rather is flush with these pieces. Now what you want to do is come here and you just want to start to wiggle this side piece. There is a tab here that goes up in that section, so make sure you untab that and just wiggle this piece out, and you can bring that arm out. Do the same thing on this side. Just make sure that tab comes undone. Wiggle this piece out just like so. And now what you can do is swing the arms upwards just like that. Now what we can do is we can come back here to the back, and we're going to want to just twist his leg a little here so it comes untabbed from the roof section. And now what you're going to do here is, you can see there are tabs in there that were tabbed up in there. You're just going to untab that section, bring this section down. It is on a double hinge. You're just going to swing this all the way down. Now what you want to do before you bring that up is come here, rotate that piece 180, and now this will come up, and those two clips will go around the waist section. So make use of all of that double hinge to bring that up and clip those on like so. Now we can work on the legs. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just extend them down and also extend them at this hinge right here. So just extend that piece like so. Do the same thing on this side, extend it down all the way, extend that piece too. Now what we're going to do is, the feet here are on a double hinge. You're going to use both hinges to bring the feet up, and you see there is a tab there on the side of the foot that will go into that slot right up in there. So just bring that up, line that in, tab it in. Do the same thing over here, use the double hinges, bring that up, tab that in. Now rotate to the back side and bring the heels down. Then come up here to the backpack and fold this section in and push this section down, flush against the back. And now we can work on the arms, which you don't have a whole lot to do. You just want to make sure that you extend them all the way out, like so. Do the same thing here. Give you a better angle, just extend them all the way out, like so. And then you can flip his hands out. Just push this piece around. And there you have one hand. Do the same thing on the other side. Flip that piece out. There you have two hands. You can come here, and if they haven't already done it themselves, untab the elbow and just straighten that out. Come to this side, do the same thing. You see it's already untabbed itself, so just straighten that out. And then the final step here for Jazz is to make sure you have this chest angled how you wish, and come back here and just get your nail in there. Come on, and flip his head up. That will come up and click into place. And with all that said and done, there you have a very small little baby Jazz in his robot mode. And with transformation complete, I must say that this is a really good depiction of Jazz from the 2007 Transformers movie. Although he is literally about the size of my index finger, he looks very good, and they've detailed him well. He's painted well. So overall, I think this figure is done very well. And let's go ahead and take a look at the details so I can show you why I think so. Focus, please, focus, focus. All right, we're gonna have to come back out a little bit. Focus, there we go. You can see his head is done in silver. It does have the visor there on the front. His mouth is also painted in there. Not sure if you can see that, but here, let's see if I can't zoom in a little. There we go. You see his mouth is painted there. The front is just the front of the car that we've already seen. You see the crotch there with some nice detailing, just done in this light gray plastic all down the leg. Also light gray plastic, but painted very well. Coming down the shin, you can see they did paint these sections gold with some nice molded detailing all throughout. As far as the hands go, they are asymmetrical. This one is like this, so you can hold the blaster if you want to, and this one is like this for movie accuracy purposes, which we love movie accuracy. And just the same details really you saw in car mode. Now if you look up here, you do have some nice details here in this dark gray plastic, which some of that would have been painted, but overall I don't think it looks bad at all. I think he looks pretty good. Now, when it comes to the backpack, he does have a bit of one here. It's just the car folded up and stuck on his back, but I don't think it looks that bad, judging that most of the car incorporates into the robot mode. So really, it's just the roof and the spoiler just tucked there. It does stick out a little, but when you're looking at him from the front, you can't really tell, and I don't think it looks that bad. So overall, I think that here in robot mode, Jazz looks really, really good. Now, of course, Jazz here is an action figure, so he has some nice articulation we're going to take a look at. The head is on a ball joint, but due to the design, he can't really look up or down much, but he can rotate his head around like so, even though it is a little stiff. The arms can do a full 360. They can go in and out. Now, you do have multiple different joints up in here from the transformation. You have this joint that can give you a little, and you also have that joint right there that can give you a little bit of motion. The elbows are on a ball joint, so they can rotate 360. They can bend like so. Just due to transformation, the wrist can move up and down a little, but no wrist swivel or anything like that. Nothing at the waist, unfortunately. The legs can kick forward that high. They can kick back until you start kicking the backpack, so not very far. Outwards, they can do almost a full split. They can pretty much do a full split. You do have thigh rotation here. You do have a knee bend here up to 90 degrees. And my favorite part of articulation that I love figures to have, you do have a nice ankle tilt there. So overall, you can get Jazz into some pretty cool poses. A waist joint would have been nice, but overall, I think the articulation here is done pretty well. And there are a couple of ways that we can incorporate this accessory into the robot mode. The first thing you want to do either way is just bring that piece down. Now, the instructions don't talk about storing this anywhere, so I don't think there's anywhere on this figure to store it in robot mode. If you know, let me know in the comments, and I'll make a pinned comment that tells everyone, but I don't think there is. But there are two ways you can have him wielding his weapon. One is you can just plug it into his hand if you want to do that. But the other, and my preferred method of weapon wieldage, is you can flip either hand around like so, and you see there is a slot right there that tab will go into, and you can have it look like his arm has transformed into his gun, and he can shoot everyone. Pow, pow, pow. And for a quick comparison, here is Jazz with his brother in arms from the Transformers 2007 movie. Here he is with Studio Series 04 Deluxe Class Ratchet. And as you can see, these are both Deluxe classes, and Jazz is much shorter than Ratchet is, but that is scale accurate from the movie. So overall, I think that so far, the 2007 Autobot team is shaping up to look very nice, even though we could use some more paint here on Ratchet, but we have another review for Ratchet. If you want to go watch that, you can, and you can hear me complain about paint. But overall, I think the team is looking pretty good so far. And the last thing to talk about here with Jazz is the sadly soon-to-be discontinued display base that is included in the packaging. And as you can see here with this Jazz figure, we get the Mission City Battle from the 2007 movie. Looks pretty cool. Number 10, Studio Series, Transformers Generations, Autobots. And you can plop Jazz right on there and have him fighting the Mission City Battle. And oh, how we hope he won't get ripped into two pieces. So there you have my review for the Transformers Studios Series number 10 Deluxe Class Autobot Jazz from the Transformers 2007 movie. And overall, I think this is another great Studio Series figure. Studio Series really went on a run for a long time where they made some awesome figures, and they're still doing it with 86, but unfortunately they have slacked off a little bit when it comes to the Bayverse. But early in the Studio Series line, they made some really good Bayverse figures, and this guy is certainly one of them. Now, he is very small, don't get me wrong, and he was, I think, $20 at the time and would be $25 now. So he was a little on the pricey side, but I think that the engineering put into the figure and the details all around make it worth the price point that he retailed for. I'm not sure what he's going for on the aftermarket, but I would recommend this figure. If you can find this figure for a decent price, I would say I do recommend this figure. Now, he does have a couple flaws here. One is the backpack. It's not super noticeable, and it doesn't really affect my rating that much, but I will note it. Another one is the details up in this area. They could have been painted. It didn't have to all be just this dark gray plastic. Would have been really nice if they could have painted that. And one other thing, I cannot believe, I will riot. I'm just kidding. I'm not that mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all. But it would have been really cool if you could rip him in half. I mean, I know it's gruesome. It's traumatic, especially for me that grew up in the 2000s. But ripping him in half would have been wonderful. So, if I had to give this guy an overall rating, I think he is one of the stronger figures we've looked at so far, but definitely not perfect. And for that, I'm going to give Studio Series Autobot Jazz number 10 a 8.5 out of 10. Not quite a 9, definitely not perfect at a 10, but I think he deserves the 8.5. I think he is a good figure, and if you can find him for a price you're willing to pay, I would definitely recommend him. And this whole team of 2007 Autobots is starting to shape up and look very nice. So get this guy if you can. He's an 8.5 out of 10 for me. I'll see you early next week with number 11, Lockdown. See you then. Peace.